7 languages ranked easiest to hardest from the perspective of Anglophone speakers. Ollie Richards, link in the description. Let's see if I agree or if I flip the table. I flip the table.
Ranking 7 languages from easiest to hardest, and by the end we will get to one language so hard it barely feels human. See, most people start learning a new language with no idea how long it will actually take or what they are really signing themselves up for. After learning 8 languages myself and helping tens of thousands of students get fluent, I've created a system that actually measures this properly. So in this video, I will show you which of these 7 languages are easiest and hardest for English speakers, how long each one realistically takes to learn, and why one of them is so extreme you will even need a map before you can begin. But first, you need to see exactly how we ranked these languages.
Interesting, yeah, we need to see the method to the madness. Also, if you say any language, you can learn it in like 3 weeks. I'm going to war.
Because I think it actually matters. See, a lot of these easiest to hardest videos are really just opinions dressed up as fact, and I didn't want to do that to you. So these rankings are based on 2 things. First, real data. So my team and I built something called the Story Learning Language Difficulty Guide, using research that we've gathered over the last 10 years, tracking tens of thousands of learners and measuring how long it really takes to reach working fluency in each language. It's the closest thing we have to hard evidence on this stuff.
Right.
And second, my own experience. I've learned 8 languages myself well. I've dabbled in a few more. And what I can tell you is the data and real life match up surprisingly well. So
I wonder how, because of course 8 languages is impressive, but I wonder what level. I'm not saying that he's like one of those disgusting frauds, polyglots. I speak 20 languages and then they can say good morning, how are you, badly pronounced, with incorrect grammar. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I would be very interested to see, because 8 is a big number. How many of these are you actually functionally fluent in? Or, as you yourself say, I actually took note, working fluency. What language, how many of these have you reached working fluency? That would be interesting. Or like, for instance, a high B2/C1 level of proficiency. To me, that's impressive. And I'd rather someone told me, maybe it's his case, maybe he's fluent in all 8 and he's got C2 in every single one. Hey, great, fantastic. If that's the case, I doubt it. But I'm saying this is what impresses me. What impresses me is high level, because hearing a number, I learned 15 languages, great. How many of these are you fluent in? 2. What are the majority, like the 4, I'm A1. I mean, come on. Now, I'm not saying him, I'm saying in general. I don't care about numbers anymore. I want data. What's a level?
when I rank a language as easier or harder, I am not guessing. Now, one quick thing before we begin, easier doesn't mean easy. Every language here takes real time and real effort. Some just reward you much sooner than others, and knowing which is which, well, that's the whole point of this video. If you want your own quick reference handy, I've put all of this into my free language difficulty guide. It's just 2 pages. You can see at a glance roughly how many hours it takes to learn different languages, but it also shows the connection between different languages, and this is what makes it unique. So you can see that if you are learning one language, can that help you learn another language based on the similarities between those languages? It's really great for unlocking faster language learning paths. So if you are choosing your next language, it takes all the guesswork out. You can get this free by scanning the QR code on the screen or grabbing the link in the description. So let's get to it. And I want to start with a language that I genuinely think is one of the best kept secrets in language learning.
Det jeg synes typisk norsk først og fremst naturen som finnes I Norge.
Now, I know you might be
There's got to be some kind of Nordic.
thinking, Ollie, a Scandinavian language? Come on. But hear me out, because Norwegian is one of those languages that looks harder than it actually is, and there are some great reasons to learn it. Did you know that Norway is essentially the world's emergency backup drive? Yep. Deep inside its mountains, they've built these vaults to store the planet's most critical data and every crop seed known to man. And if things ever go wrong, this is one of the places the world turns to. So all I'm going to say is, they might speak English, but I'd rather know their language on D-Day. Now, on my difficulty scale, Norwegian sits in the easiest tier, which means if you show up consistently, you can hold real conversations in about 6 months. Yep, 6 months for a Scandinavian language. People always seem pretty shocked.
I imagine if real conversation. Yeah, okay, so you're being methodic. You're being methodic and data-driven, but then you're not being specific in your language classifiers. Real conversation, what does that mean? Does that mean B1, like an intermediate conversation? Does it mean B2? Are we talking, imagine real conversation is not professional proficiency, but which one is it? What is a real conversation?
By that, don't know why, blame the Viking movies, I guess, but compared with something like Russian, that's a quarter of the time. And when you start learning it, you feel that straight away. The word order is the same as English, and a huge chunk of those words look a heck of a lot like English too. The grammar is super relaxed, none of that intense stuff that's coming further down this particular list. And here's something to make you smile. In most languages, you've got all these different verb endings depending on who's doing the action. You know, I am, you are, he is. Even English does this. In Norwegian, there's just one.
We use it for so many things. Jeg er. Okay, learn to use er. Du er, you are. Learn in different forms and with a different personal pronouns. Han er full, he's drunk.
There is one little thing worth knowing about. Norwegian has
It
something
sounds really cool, I give him that.
called pitch accent, where the rise and fall of your voice can change a word's meaning
Right.
slightly. It's actually one of the most endearing features of a language, I think. It's a little bit like how in English we might say invalid versus invalid. Different word.
No. Absolutely not. That's a stress. Man, this is a massive... I'm not being pedantic. This is, if you know anything about the pitch language, stress language, completely different. I don't know why he's saying that. Am I misunderstanding something? Because that's not a good example. A good example would be to give the same word, but with a different intonation, which sometimes does occur, to give it a different nuance. That's the closest we can get within our stress-based languages, whether it be English or Italian, Spanish, to how pitch works with an addition of phonemic difference. Imagine saying like, thank you, or thanks, man, thanks. Like you mean it, or yeah, thanks. So the intonation changes what you mean. The second one, you're not actually thanking, are you? So maybe that's giving the stress.
Same word, different meaning. Say invalid versus invalid. Different word. It's the same word, different meaning, right? And this is word stress, not pitch accent. It's a little bit, but it gives you an idea of what pitch accent actually
It does not.
is. Same word, different music. You'll pick it up faster than you think. Oh, and my favorite bonus, learn Norwegian and Swedish and Danish come along almost for free because they can all understand each other. So 3 languages for the price of 1. Not bad at all. My ranking for Norwegian, definitely on the easy side. Cool. Right, next up is the language you've been meaning to learn your whole life and haven't.
Qué guay.
Para hablar durante 1 hora, ¿eh?
Pero nos va a faltar
Nos
tiempo
va a
para
faltar
hablar.
tiempo porque hablamos mucho.
Sí.
Now let's be honest, if you grew up in the USA, this one has been right there since you were a kid. On the radio, on the menu, in the conversation in the garden next door, and somehow it's still not your language. Not judging here, a lot of Americans I speak to actually have a bit of a thing about Spanish. School put them off mostly, and now there's this weird guilt about not speaking it. But here's the thing, Spanish is not a language you learn for other people. It's the language that unlocks the other half of your own country. And one day on a day trip, at a job interview, someone amazing you meet, you're going to wish that you had it. So how hard is Spanish really? Well, think of it this way. We haven't even left tier 1
Or to be nice at a restaurant with the waiters is actually kind of fun.
yet. Like Norwegian, Spanish is still one of the easiest, but with a little more going on under the hood. See, word
How is Latin tier 1? That's confusing.
order is the same, super easy, and then there's the vocabulary. See, most people think that learning Spanish means just memorizing a ton of foreign words, but I could literally list 20,000 words that English and Spanish have in common. Don't worry, I'm not going to list 20,000 words. Well, I could. Do you want me to do it? I'll save that for another time. Now look, grammar-wise, here's where it steps up a bit from Norwegian, because Spanish has 2 genders, masculine and feminine, and unlike Norwegian, the verbs do change depending
Unlike English, which is like 70 or something.
on who's speaking. But the patterns are clear. It becomes intuitive pretty quickly once you know them. The one thing that does often take time for people is the rolled R.
Butter, 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 butter.
You know what I mean, it's hard. Mine arrived on the street in Madrid after 2 years of trying.
Really?
I was trying to roll my R for 2 years, and then completely out of nowhere, it just came out one day. Yours will too, so just keep at it.
You have to keep it relaxed. I think some people think it's the air that makes it move, the muscle. You stiffen it a little bit, but you kind of keep it relaxed as it moves through the air pressure. And then all you need to do is add the vocal cords, because it does have the vocal. Because without vocal cord is with the vocal cord. But yeah.
Honestly, give Spanish 30 to 60 minutes a day. Don't skip any days, no excuses. You'll be having real conversations inside of 3 months. Push that
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Look, you need to define, you're a professional, right? He makes a lot of money doing this. What is real conversation? You're telling us nothing. 3 months and people are thinking, oh, I can just speak Spanish in 3 months starting from scratch. Define speak. What is a real conversation? Man, this is going to recur, isn't it? Next.
Si tu veux te mettre au yoga ou je sais pas, à la marche à pied, tu peux essayer de marcher tous les jours déjà 5 minutes par jour.
Absolument, oui,
Et
c'est
comme
des
ça
cycles
qu'on
comme ça
crée.
de 3 semaines. De cette façon-là, ça devient un automatisme pour notre cerveau.
I was 19 years old, freshly heartbroken, and I ran away to Paris. I had no plan whatsoever, and what happened there changed the entire direction of my life. The languages, the books, this YouTube channel, all of it. So I have a soft spot for French that I can't really explain. I just know what it did
Nice personal anecdote. I do appreciate those. I like lived life.
to me. There's something about French that gets under your skin, you know. Maybe it's Paris, maybe it's the food or the films or just the sound of it.
Oui, mais non. Parce que là, tu te détends, tu oublies le travail et tu regardes autour de toi parce que l'homme de ta vie est peut-être là.
Whatever it is, if French is pulling at you, just lean into it. So how does French actually work? Because here's the thing about French. On paper, it looks very approachable. The alphabet is the same as ours. There's a mountain of shared vocabulary.
Good luck with the decoration letters of spelling.
English basically raided French for several centuries, so thank you, France, I think. Fun fact, the average English speaker already knows around 15,000 French words without ever having studied French. And we're not just talking about restaurant and déjà vu here. These are words
15,000? That sound doesn't right. It doesn't sound right to me. What does he mean by that?
that you actually use every day. Watch this little magic trick and see how much you can pick up. Mon cousin déteste la musique classique. Il préfère le confort du sofa au désastre du concert. Very random, but get my point? You pick up some of that? Where it gets tricky is the pronunciation, as you might have guessed when I just tried to say all of that. And a lot of people here...
Let me try it, for fun. Mon cousin déteste la musique classique. Il préfère le confort du sofa au désastre du concert. Can I say it faster? Mon cousin déteste la musique classique. Il préfère le confort du sofa au désastre du concert. How did I do?
It's a pronunciation, as you might
Awful.
have guessed when I just tried to say all of that. And a lot of people hear French and think, man, I can't sound like that. But here's the thing, the sounds are learnable.
Yeah.
Better than how I can do it as well.
And me.
The biggest thing is French has got nasal vowels. You've
Yeah.
kind of got to practice it.
Let me see if we get some
The
numbers.
genders, verbs, abilities might not be to get used to. On my difficulty guide, French is also in tier 1, but it's at the long end of tier 1, if I'm being honest. The guide assumes you're studying for 3 hours a day, which, as you have no responsibilities, might not be you. So for most people with kids and a 9-to-5 job, you're looking at a year to hold a real conversation. Worth it though.
Next.
Right now, there are nearly 1 million Americans working for these guys on American soil.
Also mir fällt direkt was ein, und zwar E-Roller. Ich weiß nicht, irgendwie komme ich damit gar nicht klar und ich finde sie eher tatsächlich nervig, als dass sie hilfreich sind.
They're the third biggest foreign employer in the entire US, not BMW.
I love the sound of German.
Engineers, regular jobs all across the country. And if you can speak German, your salary also gets more interesting. So how hard is German actually? Because German has a reputation for being a bit on the gruff side. All those long words, all that grammar.
Iconic.
If you're a German learner, you're going to come across this sooner or later.
Streichholzschachtelchen.
Pretty good.
I also think German gets a rougher deal than it deserves. Good news first. German and English come from the same language family, and the shared vocabulary is enormous. Thousands of words are nearly identical, so your brain has a good head start. You just got to say them with a bit of a German accent. You see, easy. And pronunciation is logical. What you see is what you say, and coming straight from French, that's an absolute walk in the park. Oh, and I love this part. When German needs a new word, it just glues old words together, and the results can be genius.
So this is a...
Okay, cool. Times, please.
Thinking, but once it starts clicking, that's rather satisfying. Now, realistically, you want to budget 18 months to 2 years to get really confident in German, but honestly, within 6 months, it's absolutely possible to be having simple conversations already.
Okay, at least he said simple. So there is a difference then between simple conversation and the other type of conversation that he mentioned. Maybe I'll have to ask him directly. Arabic, is it?
هم قالوا إنه الشعب السعودي أجمل جمهور. صح. أنا ما قلتها.
وأنا ونحن بنأكد على هيدا.
Right, brace yourself for this one. It is officially one of the hardest languages in the world for English speakers. In fact, from this point on, your English skills are absolutely useless. And I say that as someone who's actually learned it in Egypt, of all places, struggling to get taxi drivers to the place I wanted to go without completely ripping me off. Apparently the meter it's never working. Now, here's the thing that really blew my mind about Arabic.
Sounds like southern Italy.
Arabic is built around roots, and it's usually just 3 letters, and those 3 letters carry a core meaning, and then your whole world of vocabulary builds out from there. So take the construct k, t, b. That's the root for writing, and any word linked to writing uses that same root. So book, writer, library, you just build around it with different letters. Even
I wonder how it's pronounced. Kitab? I don't even know.
verbs follow the same pattern. Like if I
Katib.
say something like, I love writing with a blue ink pen, there it is again, same 3 letters. And
I wish he read it, since he said he learnt it.
There are thousands of these roots. You've got one for heart, one for love, one for beauty.
Fascinating. What's the time?
What it actually is. The sounds are another challenge. Arabic has a few that just don't exist in English, and they are tough.
They do have it in Greek, so I'm familiar with that one.
But don't let that put you off, because when you finally get it, you sound incredible. And here's another twist. You actually get to pick your Arabic, because Arabic is not just one spoken language. The formal version, MS.
I mean, you could say that about German as well, and French in theory, but I get it. Arabic maybe more. I guess a Moroccan and someone from Saudi Arabia might struggle a bit more to understand each other.
All modern standard Arabic, that's what you read and write here on a news report or read in the newspaper. But in real life, people speak dialects, Egyptian, Gulf, loads more. So you're learning 2 things at once from the start, which means realistically you need a lot of years, a few solid years to get fluent. I rank Arabic as hard, but the payoff is you're unlocking a whole part of the world most people never really get access to. Worth it? 100%. But that's just tier 8. And we're still climbing.
他にそういう悪いことしちゃうからそれがバズってそういう人がいっ
Japanese.
ぱいいるって多分認識になっちゃうから。
Now I'm going to be straight with you because we're friends after all. This language is, by pretty much every serious measure, one of the hardest languages in the world for English speakers. And I say that because the people who make it, who succeed with Japanese, are the ones who know what they're getting into, but do it anyway. So here is what Japanese asks of you. First, you will learn 3 writing systems all at the same time. You've got hiragana, you've got katakana, about 46 characters each for those 2. They're phonetic, fairly logical, and you can actually get your head around it quickly. And then we've got kanji. Now, not 46, I'm afraid. These are characters borrowed from Chinese, and you're looking at around 2000. And
yeah, for basic alphabetization, there's a lot more than that. For the basic reading and writing of everyday life, 2000. In fact, it's like 1900, and I used to know the number exactly, 40 something maybe, I forgot. Yeah, the kanji is the hardest part, definitely, of Japanese.
Plus change just to read a newspaper. Did I mention that they're not even letters, they're more like drawings? You've seen them. Then the grammar flips your brain upside down. The first thing that hits you with Japanese is that the verb comes at the end of the sentence. So where English says, I really love this city, Japanese says, I this city really love. And just when you think you're getting the hang of it, those verbs start shape-shifting on you. So you pick any random verb like nigeru, meaning to escape. That one little word.
I wonder why the heck you went for that one. But yeah, sure, if you play video games, you see that one when you enter a battle.
And suddenly grow into make someone escape, and then can't be forced to make someone escape, and somehow it's all still one word. And here's something that has no equivalent in English. Japanese has an entire built-in politeness system called keigo. Different words, different verb forms depending on whether you're talking to a friend, a stranger, a boss. It's not even just manners.
In fact, keigo is difficult for natives. Like young Japanese, I used to train them. I'm not joking. My boss, Japanese boss in Japan, he had a couple of new 16-year-olds in the business, and he told me, because I was decent with keigo because I learned it at university, and I don't know why he asked me and not another native Japanese and whatever, I don't know why, but he told me, hey, Rafa, that's what he called me, because Raffaello, I don't know why he repeated everything twice. He was like, Rafa, and I'm like, yes, and then he said, teach them how to speak properly to clients and customers. Could you imagine that? That has happened to me.
Literal grammar.
ご遠慮ください or お控えください less polite. やめていただけますか semi-formalish. やめてください casually. やめて And the more rude way, Yamera!
Now, the hard truth, this is not a quick win. You're looking at years to get comfortable in Japanese.
Thank you.
5 to 7 years for real flowing.
Took me 8, 4 of which in Japan.
Fluency at a minimum. But here's what I'll say. Japanese learners are some of the most passionate, devoted language learners I've ever come across, because it gets under your skin, this language, in a way that's hard to explain.
I love it.
And if Japanese is the one calling you, then just go. Knowing
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What's the last one? Oh, that African language that has the clicking sound. Makes sense.
Well, I promised you an impossible language, and here it is. It's so unique. There's no other language like it on Earth. Not even the click languages of Southern Africa are related. It's the Hadza language of Tanzania in East Africa. One of the last true hunter-gatherer languages still alive. And, well, it is fascinating.
Man, that's... Really? Man, that sounds alien.
What was that?
I know.
Listen to this. One of the weirdest things about Hadza grammar is how the gendered nouns work. Thin things are feminine, round things are masculine, but night versus day? Yeah, I got nothing. And they only have numbers for 1 and 2. So when they need a bigger number, they have to say it in another tribe's language. There are all these special whistles, and in Hadza, even the way you breathe can change a word's meaning.
Oh, I love that.
But with all that clicking and popping, even linguists can't figure out a way to write it accurately. So if you want to learn it, you're going to have to move in with the tribe. My verdict, well, in all practical senses, it is impossible to learn.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, the list was fun. The list was fun. A couple of things I disagreed, but the list was fun. Thank you for making it, and thank you for watching. Do you want to pick any of these? Pick the tribal one if you dare. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much.